Happy Monday. Let me pull up my comments. So, happy Monday. I hope that you have had a beautiful weekend. I personally was not going to come on and do this live today because in the middle of the night, I was sleeping, obviously, but in the middle of the night when I was sleeping, I had this extreme neck pain that woke me up in the middle of the night. It was like 2 a.m. And I don't know if I slept on my body wrong and I turned the wrong way, but literally when I woke up, I was like my shoulders and my neck was so stiff. I can't even push my neck back. So I have this what do you call these? This little icy hot thing on my neck. And it was so crazy because it woke me up in the middle of my sleep. And I was just I was laying there and I was like, oh my gosh, can I actually move? And that was my first thought because in 2017 or 2018, I had extreme back pain, and which is why I'm able to empathize with people who talk about back pain, because before I never had it. But I had one day, literally the next, I was going to the gym, I was super, doing a lot of things. And then the next morning, my lower back hurt so bad and I could not move and get out of my bed. I just had to lay there. And for weeks, it took a long time to recover from my back. So when that happened to my neck yesterday, I was just like, can I get up? Can I move? And, it was literally so painful. I'm telling you, I was dead asleep and then I woke up and I was like, what is that? What is that? Literally, it's so funny because it feels like a pain in my neck in the sense of I have been going through, if you've been following the last week or so, going through some stuff that's literally a pain in my neck. And so I'm just I don't know if I manifested this or whatever. But one of my prayers, especially when my body is hurting, is that, they say by Jesus' stripes, we are healed, and the same power that resurrected Jesus from the dead is available in me. So I usually just put my hand on wherever the pain is, and I just pray that over myself. So when I did that, I was able to move and turn my body and shoulders, and I sat up and tried to, just not let this pain kind of sit and take hold in my body. So for whatever reason, why it's here, I don't know, but I am just taking it easy today. I wanted to work out, but I don't think I can because I can't do any bending my neck forward or bending my neck back. So I'm just maybe gonna go for a walk. Anyways, that happened in the middle of the night, but that defeats the purpose of why I'm here. So today I want to do just a quick mini training. I'm gonna stay focused on my notes. And just also just a testament, just giving myself a little bit of pat on the shoulder of still showing up, because I have not been feeling physically the best, and I did want to be well, you know what, I don't need to do this live, I don't need to show up, and I have so much work I need to do. But I thought about it and I was just no, you need to show up, and you're not gonna let certain things, if you are not down and out for the count, hold you back. So today I wanted to do a quick little live, because as I've been doing a lot of these coaching calls, this is the number one thing that I've noticed, that these are the number two things that I noticed that people are having trouble with. And it's why you're either not making sales or your sales are not consistent. And this is also something that I have just experienced presently in real time. So I'm just this is your answer. So this mini training is two of the main reasons why you're not making sales or they're not consistent. So the first one, and I know that this sounds like a broken record, but if there's something that's constantly repeated, more than likely it's probably true. So the first one is that you're probably lacking buyer clarity. So you are not speaking to one person. And I think a lot of us, I talked about this before in my niching lessons, we're so afraid to get specific and we're so afraid to niche because we think that if we only focus on one person, we're going to miss out on a bunch of sales. Not realizing that having all these sales, if they're from the wrong people, not the people that actually are meant to be in your offer, one, you're going to have people in your offer that are going to be this doesn't work for me. So you're not going to get any testimonials or reviews. So you're not going to be able to compound on those results. Or you're going to have people that complain about it and they're going to ask you to change things or tweak things. And you don't even realize that that's happening. So then you end up changing the program for people that it wasn't even for. And just for $1. And like I said, this is also kind of why your sales aren't really consistent, because we want to go so wide and we want to focus on everyone. Eventually that will happen. So go back and watch the lesson that I talked about niching your audience and the specific thing that will explain to you why this is important. But because you don't have buyer clarity, you're not speaking to anyone, really. You're not actually speaking to that key person. The number 2 thing is the lack of offer clarity. So you're not able to articulate the value of your offer and why someone should purchase it. The goal when you're doing your marketing is to just really get down to the reason why people don't sign up is literally just sales timing, which means that you have no control over that. As in, like, they want to buy it, but they either just bought something else, or like they literally just don't have the money right now. And so they're like, I want it. I'm going to go find it. I'm going to go find how to, sorry, she is seriously like so gross. She farts, she burps, like it's crazy. She just burps so loud and you're like, how can you do that? And that's like the goal that you want to get to. You don't want it to be where someone's saying that it's too expensive, because then again, you haven't really articulated your value, and nothing really is expensive to someone. If they really want it, they're going to figure it out. Like, they're going to figure out how to get it. So that's what you want your main objection to be. So lack of buyer clarity or lack of offer clarity. Now, here's the thing. If you have a lack of buyer clarity, then you're going to also have a lack of offer clarity. So you're either going to have like offer clarity as your issue, because like, your buyer, but you're just like, I don't really know the sales of like offers. Or if you have lack of buyer clarity, then everything else after that is not going to work to as well as you want it to. And again, these are all, buyer is the foundation, and then obviously your offer is next, and then all the other things happen outside of that. Okay. So quick tips on how to fix this. And I talked about this in a post. I think it's still tagged, or I don't know, but we want to speak to one specific person as your buyer persona. And for when you're just getting started, or even if you're creating something new, the best way to do this and the easiest way is to put yourself in as the buyer persona where you were before that transformation. So if your transformation is helping someone lose 20 pounds, if your transformation is helping someone get started creating a service-based business, if your transformation is helping someone overachieve a certain mindset, you've achieved that transformation and that's what they want. So they're in the position you were in before you achieved the transformation, before you found your way of doing things. So who were you in that phase? That's the best way to get started, because you know exactly what that felt like, and you know exactly the milestones and the things they have to overcome to get to the achievement. So a lot of times we create buyer personas that are outside of ourselves, or we only use ourselves on the superficial level of like gender, demographic, like how I like social, or things like that. We have to go deeper, like I always mention inside of the buyer personas. So you will be able to speak to every moment that they have in their transformation, because you are the buyer, you are that, right? Like, we oftentimes forget that, but we make buyer personas so complicated when really, like, you were once in that position. So you know what it feels like to be in that position. You know what it feels like to go through the humps, and then you know what it feels like to be in the transformation. Oftentimes we spend too much time focusing on the transformation. The transformation is great because it kind of hooks people in and they're like, yes, I want that too. But what gets them to take action is that moment where you are relating to them with where they are at right now. And if you put yourself in that position where you were at that time, it's going to be so easy to create stories and content and messaging that's going to appeal to that and resonate with that, because you're just going to literally use your stories as an example. So again, it's hard to speak on something that you've never been through. So obviously, like, you must have gone through it. But that is the easiest way to create buyers. So if one of my offers is teaching you how to create a course, then I put myself in your position, which is where I was, which I didn't know how to make a course. So what was I looking for? What were my fears? My fears were, how do I sell it? If I do sell it, like, how do I make sure that this course actually is going to be good and people are going to like it and it's not going to be underwhelming, right? So these are the things that I remember I was going through, which again is usually what your buyer is going through, which then I will also confirm that with buyer surveys and be like, oh yes, okay, this is perfect. And this is exactly how you make people feel seen, heard, and understood. It is literally not rocket science to run sales. Like, we just make it seem so complicated. So put yourself where you were when you first got started, which is where your buyer is, and then use buyer surveys to validate that information. and speak in their language. And so when you are speaking to this specific person and the specific part of their transformation, then you're going to see why your messaging lands. And then everything else that you do, the content that you create, the campaigns, the scripts, and all those things, it's going to resonate and it's going to work. Okay. And then the next thing is that we can also take buyer personas a little bit further, or buyer surveys a little bit further. And we can ask certain questions that are going to help give us the information to help us understand how our buyers are actually thinking about the transformation. So a little communication tip 101, which is so funny. Oh, just glory to God. Okay. What someone says is not normally what they're actually thinking or feeling. A lot of people, I was one of them, I still am one of them, we say a lot of things, but we're not fully expressing or saying what we mean by that. So when you're using buyer surveys and you have specific strategic questions, you can actually find out what people are saying and thinking about the transformation that you provide or your offer. And this is going to tell you their exact goals, their dreams, their fears, their internal, external objections, their desires, what's holding them back, what's in the way, what's a roadblock, things they want to learn, things that they're actually curious about in terms of your transformation. And so this is then going to help you get laser targeted in your messaging. And there's also obviously a strategy with using the buyer surveys, right? Like organizing your data by top results, top responses. So if you notice that like a lot of people are talking about one thing, then like, oh man, that's like the hot topic, which again, I mean, a plethora of things that you can do. Not only can you create content off of those topics, you can make sure that all of your sales pages or your emails are crushing those objections that people are actually having, not what you assume. And it's the easiest tactic. Just ask your buyers who they are and how they want you to sell to them. Like, it is so simple, and it's going to make everything so easy. It's going to make writing copy so easy because, again, you are in the situation, you can relate to it. It's going to make when you actually learn a strategy so easy, because when they ask you like, okay, well, what are your buyers' top fears and objections and how do you overcome them? You're like, oh yeah, boom, I know exactly what it is and I already have an answer for it. It's going to make it so easy if you close in the DMs. It's going to make it so easy if you close in the sales, on sales calls, on Zoom meetings, because you're already going to have the answer for it. So when you equip yourself with the right information, this is what gives you clarity. This is what gives you confidence, and it creates the emotion of certainty within you, that you know who you're speaking to, you know how to speak to them, and you know how to sell your offer, which then is going to transfer that certainty over to your buyer, which is going to make them feel like, oh yeah, she knows exactly what we're talking about. But if you don't really clearly understand, like when someone hits you with an objection, like how to answer that, they're going to feel that uncertainty. But when you're feeling bold and calm, and you're like, yeah, this person definitely has it together, they're going to want that. They're going to want to come into your container and come into your world. So this is how you really help people feel seen and heard and understood. And again, this is then what gives you, sorry, my neck is like driving me crazy. This is what gives you certainty and gives your followers certainty and turns your followers into paying customers. So just a very simple, easy hack. Okay, so if you want to do this together and you need help doing this, right? We pay for information and support to expedite our process so that we are not wasting time trying to figure it out and go it alone. Honestly, when I had a conversation with someone the other day, I was just like, I wish I knew about coaches and mentors when I started my first business. I had no idea to the depth of like what I understand now, even though it kind of seems so self-explanatory. Like I had no idea what that actually meant when I was running my first few businesses. And I'm just like, I wish I had that, because like I would just be like a rock star right now. So I have that now because I was like, learn from my mistakes in the past, but also I'm going to pay for the information that someone has because they've already figured it out. So if this is something that you want and you need help with, I'm going to include the link in this description of this video of my offer suite. So there are plenty of things that I go over between offer creation, between growing your social on Instagram and Facebook, and automated sales machines, which you know I love. And there's different types of containers, one-to-one, self-study programs. I'm going to have some group masterminds that are going to be starting in live masterclasses in 2023. But in the meantime, there's a lot of things that you can utilize now if you need help in certain areas of your business. So I cover multiple different areas in the realm of turning your followers into paying customers, as well as different price points. I always talk about mindset and strategy inside everything that I do. And if you can't figure it out and you don't really know exactly what you need, then I do have single sessions, which basically allows you to book a one-on-one session with me and we can just brainstorm and talk through what it is that you actually need. And I am offering this now. This might date this video, but like I am offering custom one-on-one packages. So if we are a good fit, and I can actually help you with what it is that you need, then I am happy to create a custom one-on-one package if there is something within the offer suite that you find doesn't support you. But buyer clarity and offer clarity is so key. This is literally what changed the game for me, which made my sales like truly the definition of effortless sales. So that is it, guys. Happy Monday. Continue to pray for me. For all the prayers that I've been receiving, I truly am so grateful because I feel the presence of God and I feel it working through me. Like I said, the enemy is just trying really, really hard. And it's so cool because now I feel like I'm armored up and I can see the attacks. And so I'm just kind of like, really, I see you. So like the first thing I do is I just worship, I just praise, I just pray, I just get into the spirit of God and get into the presence of God. I draw near to him because I'm like, you're just not going to take me out and I'm just not going to do the work for you. And I'm not going to, which actually, let me end this with this. I'm telling you, every time I get into this devotional, it just literally rocks my world. And I know this is like all over the place, but guess what? I don't really care. I mean, I care, but I don't. This was so cool. So it says, the secret to healthy conflict resolution isn't taking a you against me stance, but it's realizing it's all of us against Satan. He's the real enemy. Satan loves when we do his work for him by dumping on each other. And as I kind of go through some of these trials, especially in my, like I said, my personal life, I see that there are spirits that are covering some of the people that I care about and some of the people that I love who aren't just in the presence of God or in the grace of God or the covering of God. And so I see that. And so all I can do is pray for them and pray for removal of the spirits and to do my part, to love well, to try my best to love well and try my best to be a good representation of Christ. And so, yes, I have been seeing it and feeling it today. And I am telling you, like, it is so exhausting. And that's why I feel like I said, I have this pain in my neck, like you literally are pain in my neck. And it's just really kind of cracks me up. And I've just been laughing about it. But I'm just truly grateful. And I'm just truly thankful for the presence of God and allowing me to continue to show up and share this value even amongst the trials. You know, I said the other day that these aren't, I got this from Myron Golden, that I'm not in a trial. I'm just in constant preparations. If I am in trials, they're just preparations for what's to come and for me to be able to sustain where it is that I'm going. And also to just continue to draw me near and draw me close to God. So I'm just really grateful for that. So I'm grateful for Jesus. And that's it. So I hope that you guys find this video valuable. If you know anyone that it would resonate with, I would love that you share this video by adding them to the group and tagging them in this video so they can watch it. And if you have any questions on your own sales process, then again, I would love to talk to you, book a single session, and we can figure it out. So that is it. And I will see you guys tomorrow.